Okay, let's talk about learning to code and what are the tips and tricks that I can share with you in order to fast track your skills and your abilities in coding, irregardless with whatever field you have or whatever field you're coming from or whatever skill set you have.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even.
Hello once again, this is Dr. Lowell Sala of NYC Emerging Healthcare Technology, your go-to place if you want to learn more about blockchain, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, and web development in healthcare. And also if you want to learn more about digital health. So today I am extremely excited because we are going to talk about something which is very dear and near to my heart, learning how to code, and basically what my journey is in going into the digital healthcare field. I got this idea of making this video because a few weeks back, I got invited by the past president of the Philippine Medical Association, Dr. Minerva Kalimag, to talk about digital healthcare in one of our classes. And one of the students asked me what was the advice that I could give coming from somebody in healthcare. And one of the first things that I really mentioned was learning how to code, which is, I think, one of the most important thing, regardless again with whatever field you're in, because whether you like it or not, technology is really life-changing, and technology will really have a dominant aspect in our lives, and especially in healthcare. So this is why it's important to understand how this binary system works, for example, how computer systems think, because that's the only way we can understand and create a much better world and a much equitable healthcare or much equitable society. So before we begin, since you're probably wondering who I am, I just want to introduce myself to you, and especially if this is your first time to actually meet me or see me. So I'm Dr. Lowell Sala. I have 10 years experience in clinical medicine. In fact, I have a diplomate actually in occupational medicine. I also have 2 years experience in the pharmaceutical section of the pharmaceutical medicine. I work as a medical science liaison for two of the largest pharmaceutical firms globally, which is AstraZeneca and Mundipharma. For AstraZeneca, I work as a medical science liaison for their anti-diabetes drug, which is Farxiga. And for Mundipharma, which is actually called Purdue here in the United States, I work with their opioid brand, which is buprenorphine, Norspan, and the palonosetron aloxi, and their antiseptic, which is the betadine or povidone iodine betadine. What's this brand? So that's the healthcare aspect of it. In terms of technology, I studied at the Borough of Manhattan Community College and also with the New York Code and Design Academy, and I've been with a lot of professors talking about blockchain specifically. And in 2018, I was accepted at the MIT Grand Hack here in New York City, and our team actually won. We won the Weill Cornell Medicine Award for reimagining lung cancer. And at the same time, in 2018 also, I was privileged enough to attend the Techstars competition. Our team also won the blockchain edition. And in 2019, we won again at the New York City Hackfest, winning the Best in Data and Security using this blockchain-based application for health records or electronic health records, using blockchain to create electronic health records. Which leads me actually to my first advice, especially if it is your first time to go into technology, and if it is your first time to learn how to code. The first advice that I'm going to tell you is to have an open mind. It's because it is important, especially if you've already have all these degrees, or even if you don't have any of these degrees. It's important for you to have an open mind, to like a sponge, to have your brain like a sponge, because this is the only way that you are going to learn new things. And there's really no age limit in learning new things. There's really no limit in learning new things. So having an open mind is really the first step. To have a mind that is open is really the first step to learn how to code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate actually this advice into two sections, or two aspects. The first one is the technical, and the second one is the non-technical aspect. So I want to start with the the non-technical aspect. So the first thing that I want to talk about, especially if you want to understand or learn how to code, is to first understand your learning style. So in medicine, actually they teach us. In fact, I actually still have that certificate in teaching. One of the first things that we actually do, especially when we teach interns and clerks is to understand your learning style. And this is actually, it actually holds true to whatever what's this topic that you want to learn, to understand your learning style. So there are three types actually of learning style. So the first one is visual, and then you have your auditory, and then you have your kinesthetic. I realized early on that I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I learn more by doing, or like in this case, coding. So this is one of the things that you want to focus on. So others may learn visually, or may learn auditory. They may learn more in those different learning styles. So it's important for you to identify and to be able to see which is the best learning style for you. So which is why actually in all of my lectures, if you manage to see, I have one aspect which is mostly visual, and then another aspect which is mostly auditory. But most of the things that my tutorials will really be is kinesthetics. So as you can see, I code. So this is another way of a kinesthetic learning style, which is for me, works for me. So it may not work for you. You may have a different learning style. So be cognizant in understanding what your learning style is, because only through understanding your learning style you will be able to facilitate or to learn more in terms of coding techniques or coding styles. So that's the first thing. That's the second thing actually that I want to focus on, the non-technical aspect. The third one is really you can go through either boot camps, or you want to do self-taught, or you can do other tutorial classes. So it's really up to you, as long as you understand again your learning style. With boot camps, I actually went to boot camps and also did self-taught and also did tutorial class. It's important to have a schedule, which is especially if you're doing self-taught, it's important to have a schedule, because the schedule will really help prioritize and help you have a specific time of the day to really do your coding, or to really focus on that specific aspect in especially when you are a self-learner, as a self-learner, as opposed to having boot camps, or as opposed to having classes. So that's the thing about self-taught, is that you need to have a system in place. Whereas in a boot camp, for example, you spend a week, a month, 3 months, 4 months, for example, and it's really hardcore. Like there's nothing, you only think about coding from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's the only thing you do. That's like from Monday to Saturday, and that's something not all people are able to survive that, and not all people are able to to process that. So it's really up to you what type of learning style, and then enhance your facilitate a much better once you understand your learning style, then you can choose whatever process, or whatever, whether it's bootcamp, whether it's self-taught, or whether it's a tutorial class, that it's more much more better for your learning style. And another thing that I want to focus on when you talk about non-technical aspect of learning how to code, is to start projects that you're interested in. So you can have a very simple project. Like for me, I started making because I initially it's interesting. I initially started with Java, and then I went to Python, and then eventually I fell in love with JavaScript, which is really, I think, the best programming language out there. But it's up to you, whatever type of language that whatever objective that you want to do. So my advice is to really start simple. Like for me, for example, I started simple by starting a body mass index, or a BMI program or project. And it helped me a lot, because all the ifs and thens, all those statements really helped me focus and understand how to use all that later on. So another non-technical thing that I want to talk about is hackathons, or joining hackathons, or coding competitions. In fact, we actually have another one right now. So we have the MIT Hacking Racism, and then there's another one a few weeks later, which hopefully I'll get in. But yeah, join hackathons. So right now, because of COVID, there's so many things that are going virtual. So it's really good, especially even if you're from a different part of the globe, a different part of the country, then you can join, because everything right now is virtual. So it really can join hackathons, because it will help you with your teammates. It will also help you understand the whole technology section, the whole technology field, and understanding that you're not alone. Like a lot of people, whenever they go into coding, they always think about Facebook or Uber, or all this, or Google, or Amazon, like how they can make money. What's this? A lots of money. In fact, you can still make a lot of money, but you have to understand, the whole process of coding is really understanding how computer systems work, and making our lives easier, because that's the primary objective. And for healthcare, to make healthcare more equitable and to make healthcare a lot better. So join hackathons, because it's also the best way to assess your skills and your capabilities, where you're good at, where you're bad at, like sort of like a SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, what opportunities that you have, and all those things. So it's important to join hackathons, to know where your capabilities are, and also what your teammates' capabilities are. And also you will also win a lot of prizes from that one. So it's also a good way to earn money at the same time. And another thing that I wanna really delve on here, especially for the non-technical section, is to improve your problem-solving skills. Codes are just codes. At the end of the day, you will just need to learn, for example, basic principles. But the important aspect of coding really goes into, improving your problem-solving skills. Simple mathematics, for example, let's say addition, subtraction, division. And then if you go deeper into statistics, about linear regression and all these things, logistic regression. And it's important to be able to have that perspective, that problem solving skills. And a lot of people are saying that it's innate. No, it's not actually innate. In fact, I know a lot of people who are able to, they've not been very, in terms of mathematics, they've not been very good at math early on in their lives. And then later on, when they went into coding, they learned, and at the same time, they became so much better at it, which is practically goes back to my first advice, which is really, having an open mind. And only through having an open mind, you will learn a lot. So it doesn't mean that because you have poor in math, you have poor problem solving skills. In fact, most of the best people I actually met in these hackathons have excellent problem solving skills, and some of them are even self-taught. So how impressive that really is. And another thing that I want to mention, the non-technical aspect, is, of course, to join a community. I actually have to advertise this because I'm actually part of the AI in healthcare community, and I also started my own community, which is the NYC Emerging Healthcare Technology, which I'm going to put the link down below. So if you want to join later on with my community, with our community, and then just click the like button. It's a meetup group, and every now and then I have meetups. But right now, because of COVID, it's mostly virtual. So make sure to also click and join the community on NYC Emerging Healthcare Technology. And another aspect that I want to focus when I talk about non-technical is really finding a mentor, because the only way that you will proceed, the only way that you become successful is finding someone, especially if you are self-taught, and even if you are doing tutorial classes or if doing boot camps. It's important to have that mentor who will really shape and propel you to the direction that you want to eventually go. Technology right now is a very, very fascinating, and it's very it's a wild west. So make sure to have the mentor that can really help you trace yourself, pace yourself, that can help you create the track on whatever field that you wanna eventually focus deeply on. And so we go now to the technical skills. The technical skills are relatively easy. The first one is really have a basic understanding on math and statistics, which is, if you do not have any background in math and statistics, there are a lot of YouTube tutorials out there globally. Of course, you can look at Harvard, for example. You can look at even the free code camp. They have they have math tutorials, which is something that is also very important as your baseline background in terms of your technical skills. And also, as I mentioned, learn about the fundamentals of computer science. All these are actually free. Just go to the Harvard CCS course in YouTube, and you just listen for a few hours or a few minutes of your time, just learning really the fundamentals of computer science and math and a little bit of statistics. And then another technical skill that is also very important is about algorithm, or learning about these algorithms, like your search algorithm and your sort algorithms. This is important because this is practically how the binary computer systems work, and you have to be able to understand it in order to facilitate, to fast track again your skills and your knowledge in coding. And the next part that I want to delve deeper on is the different programming languages. So I always say that go with whatever you are interested in. So if you're, for example, rather than nitpicking and choosing all these different languages, because it will literally overwhelm you. All this programming language are, it takes time. It has a learning curve. I'm not saying that it's difficult. It has a learning curve, so it will take a lot of your time and energy. So focus on what you think you can do and what you are very interested in doing, because with that interest you can merge it together with the programming language that you want. So the first thing that I want to show you is gaming. So if you're the type of person who's interested, for example, in gaming, then C# is very important. Learning C#, and also for Unity. In fact, I can show you the link later on for Unity. And also, if you wanna delve deeper into data science or artificial intelligence or machine learning, then two very, very popular languages are Python and R. So make sure to look at those languages, and this is, if there's something that you are interested in, like data science and machine learning, then learn about Python and R. And another one, if you want to learn more about web development, then JavaScript is one of the probably nice programming language that you can learn. And of course, you have to understand there are two sections in terms of in terms of programming language. You have your front end and your back end in terms of web development. So the front end really deals with what you see, whereas the back end will really be like the database of the programming of the system or the project that you're creating. So for backend, Python and even PHP and MySQL is also very good for your database. And if you wanna create, let's say, Android project, Android games, Android applications, then learn Java. Actually, in fact, I was telling you about this, right? One of the first languages that I learned was Java, because I wanted to create an application in Android, because at the time I still have, I have an iOS phone and I also have an Android phone, but I wanted to focus on, because I realized that a lot of people are using Android, so that's why I created a diabetes-based application based on Android. So I had to learn Java at that time. And of course, if you want to go with your iPhone, because it's very popular, iPhone has its own language, which is Swift. So if you ever want to create applications, games, for example, or not just games, for example, but also applications, then you learn, it's best that you learn Swift. And lastly, of course, blockchain is very it's growing right now. So if you want to learn about blockchain, for example, then learn Solidity. Now, all these languages are really, or programming languages, are really just steps towards understanding the machine, or in that case, the computer. So you'll probably be asking, why should I learn all these different programming languages? And what is this really necessary? Yes, because what says at the end of the day, the computer actually talks in binary, or understands in binary, which is why you need all these programming languages to to understand how the computer system works. And again, going back to what your objective really is, why you want to learn how to code, what do you want to do actually with the skill set that you have? Do you want to go into gaming? Do you want to go into data science, AI and machine learning? Or do you want to go into web development? Or do you want to do just back end? Do you want to do the database, which is a SQL or MySQL for that matter? And if you want to create applications for Android, then learn Java, for example. If you want to create applications for your iPhone, then learn Swift. And if you want to learn more about blockchain, then it's important to learn about about Solidity. So there are a lot of languages out there that you probably are aware of. And these are just some of the programming languages that with the objective, of course, of what are the things that you want to why you want to learn those programming languages. So again, when you want to learn a programming language, at least have an objective on what are the things that you want to do with that programming language. So what are the things that you need? Of course, you need a computer, a laptop, or your own personal computer. And it's also important to understand Git and practically the client-server architecture, understanding HTTPS and all those things. And also make sure that you are able to download your integrated development environment or your IDE. For me personally, I use the Visual Studio Code, which is actually free. Just download them. And yeah, it's really up to you. But I started actually with Sublime and Atom. So those are the things that you need in order to be successful. At least understand the process of learning how to code. And so ends another episode. Now, if you want to learn more about these emerging new technologies, then please make sure to click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you will be able to hear and see every time I upload new videos and new contents. And also, please make some comments so that I can go on making videos such as this one. Now, wherever you're in the world, I know it's a very difficult time right now. So I hope that you stay safe and please take care of yourself. So I guess I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.